Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal, the nootropic reviewer, and during this video I'm going to answer the very commonly asked question, does ashwagandha increase testosterone levels? So I've been using ashwagandha over 7 years at this point. I really enjoy it when it comes to anti-anxiety, when it comes to productivity. I find that I can think better, I can plan better, and the actual form that I'm using is the KSM 66 from Nootropics Depot, which is a good extract which helps you with anxiety and also does allow you to be productive. But have I noticed an improvement with testosterone levels? I would say no. I've been a little bit disappointed. The answer probably is a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, guys, we're really not going to notice much of a testosterone improvement unless we're boosting by like 200%, 300% plus, because that's really what anabolics do, and a lot of people don't realize that. So they look for like natural, herbal testosterone boosters, but they just end up being disappointed. And what you all have to notice is that I was actually on CRT for a considerable amount of time. What happened was at some stage, like my body fat dropped so low that I ended up having very low testosterone levels, so I had to get on CRT. That unfortunately I was able to get off of it. And fortunately, because of that experience, I do get my blood work checked regularly. I do see an endocrinologist, and I can share with you, ashwagandha really hasn't changed my blood markers too much, but it's so hard to tell. There's always going to be variables like diet, like exercise, and other lifestyle factors, of course. So we'll talk more about my experience afterwards. But here's the good news, is that we actually do have research on this to see, does ashwagandha in fact improve testosterone levels? Well, here's a study I'm happy to share with you, examining the effect of ashwagandha supplementation on muscle strength and recovery. Here's a great thing about the study. Let's face it, guys, what are we looking to improve our testosterone for? In most cases, it's for muscle, it's for building strength, it's for boosting performance, and that's exactly what they measured here. And it's a great study because it took place over 8 weeks. There was 59 young male subjects ages 18 to 50 years with very little weight training experience. And so what they did was they had one group that was taking ashwagandha twice a day at a dose of 300 milligrams twice a day, and then the other group was just taking placebo, basically starch. And then the findings of the study were able to conclude the really positive effects of ashwagandha. They measured muscle strength, they measured muscle size, body composition, serum testosterone levels, and muscle recovery. And the way that they evaluated the strength was based on a 1-rep max. So we can see the results here, and clearly there was a benefit with the group that was taking ashwagandha at the 300 milligrams twice a day. We can see placebo versus ashwagandha. There was improvements with the leg extension exercise, there was improvements with their chest, and furthermore, we can see most importantly that there was a significantly greater increase in testosterone levels, but also a significantly greater decrease in body fat percentage. Very interesting stuff. However, more data would be helpful because at the end of the day, let's face it, not all of us are going to be exercising or starting an exercise routine. I just want to know, does ashwagandha work to improve testosterone levels, assuming that you're not exercising? And that brings up this interesting study over here where they gave ashwagandha to aging, overweight males. So this is a different example. The first study is like young, energetic men that are weightlifting. This is taking into account elder people, a little bit more fatigued, a bit more tired. There was 57 individuals that first enrolled. There was 43 that actually completed all 16 weeks. We can see here that the participants of the study were overweight men aged 40 to 70 years with mild fatigue, so very relatable, and they were either given placebo or they were given a specific ashwagandha extract, it being shodan. Shodan being a very sedating form of ashwagandha. It's an extract that's a little bit higher in the percentage of withanolides, which means that it's very often taken before bed. So it's relaxing, it's calming. It won't necessarily boost ambition and stimulate you like you would want it to. So I've talked more about the different forms of ashwagandha during this video here. You may find that informative, but that's what they used during this study. And what's exciting about the study was that they measured testosterone, they measured cortisol, they also measured fatigue and vigor. And let's see what the findings were. Like looking at this data here, we can see the placebo group and we can see the ashwagandha group, and we have period 1, meaning the first 8 weeks, and period 2, meaning the second 8 weeks, week 9 to 16. And clearly there was an improvement with testosterone levels. Looking at ashwagandha, the mean amount during period 1 was 332, whereas in period 2, the number was 378. And they ultimately had concluded that throughout the study from taking ashwagandha, there was a 14% greater increase in testosterone compared to the placebo group. Now, here's the problem with that in a practical sense. I can share with you, I have not noticed any testosterone improvement whatsoever. That being said, maybe it's doing a little bit, like a negligible amount. Guys, it's really hard to tell. At the same time, has it hurt my testosterone levels? No, that's a positive. We know ashwagandha as the king of herbs, one of the best supplements you can take for stress. We know that it's been around for centuries, if not longer, and therefore makes us a bit more comfortable taking it. The mechanism in which it does improve testosterone levels is mostly by reducing cortisol levels. So it's very interesting because we know ashwagandha to really help with stress resilience, to help us to have a higher capacity to tolerate stress, but also to improve our relationship with stress. And chronic stress, like elevated stress levels, elevated cortisol levels, that can really restrict the production of testosterone levels. levels. So if you're perhaps somebody that's like just chronically stressed, maybe you're not sleeping right, maybe you're feeling very uptight because of work, there's a very good chance that that's hurting your testosterone levels, and using something like ashwagandha can help you out. Like, ashwagandha is not a fit necessarily for everybody, but those individuals may be able to see a good boost of testosterone levels. And as well, anyone with like lower thyroid levels, the best solution really is getting some blood work done. Like, thyroid is super tricky. You have your T3, you have your T4, and you also have your TSH. And it just becomes like so important that your thyroid is taken care of, it's in good health. And believe it or not, ashwagandha boosting thyroid levels may actually result in you having higher testosterone levels. But just be aware of this, because if you suspect that you have elevated thyroid levels, you'll definitely want to stay away from ashwagandha. As a matter of fact, if you have any thyroid issue, you probably wouldn't want to touch ashwagandha or do it under the guidance of a general practitioner. Looking at examine.com, where examine.com has done a great job combining and organizing research, so we can tell specifically what a supplement will do and will not do. We can see with ashwagandha, there was a notable decrease with anxiety. There's a slight improvement with testosterone levels, a very noticeable decrease in cortisol levels as well. Power output went up, and it just gets better. Decreased stress, decreased depression, decreased fatigue, increased luteinizing hormone. That's important because increased luteinizing hormone is going to help with testosterone production as well. Increased sleep quality, and that's a big one because I've started using shodan, which is a specific extract of ashwagandha, prior to sleeping, and I've found that I'm a much deeper sleeper. Like, I'm not waking up in the middle of the night like I used to be, so I'm grateful for that. And scrolling down, we can see decreased TSH, that's thyroid stimulating hormone. That's an interesting one because it's basically like the lower the TSH is, the higher your thyroid levels are, and makes it easier for you to lose weight, for example. Improvement with aerobic exercise, alertness, attention, and this list does go on. So before you are to take ashwagandha for improving your testosterone levels, it's really important that you understand what the major side effects are. And for most people, it's not the increased thyroid, but what it is specifically is demotivation. Tiredness. People often take ashwagandha and they stop seeing results, let's say if they're in a sales job, because there is something to be said about ashwagandha calming you down, making you a bit apathetic, and stopping you from having like that goal-driven behavior, which is super interesting because if ashwagandha is going to increase testosterone levels, then why the heck would it not help to boost motivation? Because we think of increased testosterone levels and we think of boosting motivation. And really, you're going to get to know this from trial and error. Like, you'll find with ashwagandha, some people will have acute effects. Like with some people, they ingest ashwagandha, they can feel it instantly, like very acute effects. They're feeling tired for a few hours, whereas with some individuals, it takes about 7 to 10 days for them to start noticing something. And that's myself included. I didn't notice anything when I first started taking ashwagandha, but it was more so like the 10 to 14 day mark after using ashwagandha twice a day. That's when I really felt it kind of saturating in my system, felt a decreased anxiety, felt better work performance, didn't notice any increase with testosterone levels. So you'll better get to know that for yourself after you start ingesting it to improve your testosterone levels. And some other great herbal, you can argue somewhat safe supplements that you can use to improve testosterone levels would be Tonkat Ali, would be Tribulus, and would be Turkesterone. I really like Tonkat Ali. I've talked about it in depth in this video right over here. It's been a game changer for me, especially for those of you that aspire to lift heavier weights, get stronger. And the other supplement that I'm really enjoying for increasing testosterone levels in a natural fashion is Turkesterone, which I've been using for several months. And it's really been working well. I'm noticing improved strength. I was even on a cutting diet for a considerable amount of time, and I was able to maintain my strength, which is always positive. So that one, I'm going to continue to be checking out, and I'll keep you guys posted on the results. And I really hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, consider subscribing. And if you are a returning viewer, don't forget to drop a like and drop a comment below. I want to see your comment there in the comment section. Of course, if you'd like to chat with me one-on-one, you can do so over on Patreon or on Instagram. Send me a direct message. I will eventually get to it. And be sure to visit our Discord server. Discord, we've got a 24/7 chat. We're answering questions in a time-sensitive fashion. We're having a lot of fun, so I look forward to seeing you in the Discord server. I thank you for your interest in nootropics, and I will look forward to seeing you all next time.